The 41221 Kraken is brought to you by FM Studio, the same people who have brought you several other tactics that we've seen before. And sadly, there's still nothing in the description. I really wish he'd learn. There is a quick set of screenshots that you can see used as the thumbnail, but unfortunately, I am not young enough to figure out what the heck's going on. So, unfortunately, I'm going to say that besides a very good looking screenshot, he has nothing in the comments, in the description. There's very little information whatsoever on the Steam Workshop. I gotta just stop using this guy, but it is one of these ones. I haven't covered this type of tactic before, at least not much. So you do have the 4 in back, the 3 in the midfield, the 3 attackers up front, kind of squeezed in the middle. So you do start out with a sweeper keeper in support, a complete wingback in attack on both sides, a central defender in defend on both sides, a halfback in defend, an advanced playmaker in support, a deep lying playmaker in support, 2 shadow strikers in attack, and then an advanced forward up front. It is a personal tactical style attacking mentality. In possession, attacking width is fairly wide, overlap on the left and right, play out of defense, passing directness is shorter, tempo is slightly higher, low crosses, hit early crosses, and then dribble less. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the center backs, and take short kicks. And then out of possession, high press line of engagement, much higher defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distributions, trigger press much more often, step up more, trap inside, and stop the crosses. But how did this work for our 3 teams? Unfortunately, not very well. Tottenham sitting in 6th, so they do have Europe, but it's only the Conference League. But 62 points is incredibly low for them. Actually, no, it's not that low. It's kind of on the lower side of their average. Newcastle in 11th with 50 points. That is pretty low for what you would expect. And then Wolves in 16th with 42 points, only 4 points off of relegation. Really bad season for most. Tottenham's schedule is off to a shaky start with only 2 wins. They win their first, which is nice, but Brentford is the only other win in the first month. But then this run from September all the way down to October 22nd is fantastic. Champions League, they do get knocked out into the Europa League, but the other cups they're progressing. It's looking nice, unfortunately, until the EFL Cup semifinals where you face Liverpool and then just crash out. The EFL Cup semifinals, there you go. The FA Cup, however, is down, losing out in the 5th round to Chelsea, 1-2 in extras. But Europa, you get all the way to the semifinals, but you do lose out against Arsenal. Premier League killers, just killing you everywhere you go. But overall, the second half of the season is not fantastic. You do have a little bit of a run here. But overall, I mean, you're going through to the semifinals of the Europa League, not too bad. Everything else kind of shaky. Newcastle, as you would expect, a lot shakier. You've got a couple more wins in August than Tottenham did. You do lose out in the EFL Cup second round to Wolves, funny enough. And then you lose out again 4-6 against Wolves at home in the Premier League. But everything else, very few runs of green and yellow. That's a nice January, I will tell you that. But then look at that. February is just god awful. March is no better. FA Cup 5th round against Leeds. I mean, I guess you do have that win against Brentford, but still, then April is dreadful. May is half and half. Wolves actually having a good run for quite a bit, for a little while, but then back into the red. You're still going through the EFL Cup. You lose out the EFL Cup 4th round. There you go, Chelsea, 2-2 on penalties. FA Cup, however, you're continuing. FA Cup until the quarterfinals against Middlesbrough, 1-2 loss. And then you're out. And the second half of the season, up until that point, even farther, just awful until this Fulham match. And then you're okay, I guess. Liverpool 1-3 or Newcastle 1-3 loss. You do beat Liverpool, is what I was trying to say, 3-0. Tottenham transfers Marcos Acuna from Sevilla for 19 million. Enzo Boyomo from that team for 3.2, and then Victor Nelson from Galatasaray for 21.5. I think we've seen at least 2 of those before. And then outs the same. Newcastle spending some money on Douglas Santos from Zenit and Alex Scott from Bristol City. And then the outs, outs, they never get rid of anyone, generally. And Wolves bringing in Costinha from Rio Ave. I think we've seen for 4 million. Miguel Veloso we've seen. And then 7 million for Lemina all the way to Strasbourg. But that's about it. I have forgotten to do some of the squad screens for a couple of these videos, but here you go. As always, feel free to stop on whomever you want to see, and we'll just go straight through. But they do have a nice looking group here: 723, 722, Kane and Kulusevski. Not too bad. Newcastle squad, not looking too bad either. 732 for Donny van de Beek. You got 733 for Miguel Almiron. 751 for Isaac. We'll see that in a minute, but wow. And Wolves having an okay showing, not too bad for somewhat mid-table. 732 for Sarabia, very, very nicely done, and 711 for Cunha. Data Hub, as you can see, this is more of an attacking side of things. Shaky in defense, good in attack. You can see the attack is doing fairly well. Dribbles per game not doing very well. And then cross completion not doing very well. Team defending, the fouls per game, or fouls made per game, not great. Blocks made is nice. But everything else is really just on par or well below. Newcastle, on the other hand, actually say they're both good in defense and attack, good threat overall, and are strong defensively. You can see the good overall attack still. Dribbles per made is not doing very well. Crosses percentage is better than Tottenham's. Team defending, though, fouls per game is still up there. You're still, conceded per game is nice. XGA, expected goals against. So you got some good numbers, some bad numbers. They still need to pick it up just a bit. And then Wolves, weak defensively, generally okay in attack. And as you can see right there, some numbers that just need to be brought up. Dribbles per game, it's definitely not a dribbling, hold possession type of thing. But team defending... So in this, I would expect much more the attacking side than the defending side. As you can see, most goals for Tottenham, 81. Beating out City, United, Liverpool. Newcastle is in there on 70, tied with Brighton and Liverpool. Brighton at 70, wow. But few shots against, nobody. Most dribbles made, nobody. You'd expect, I mean, you would hope that that number would be a lot higher, but as we've seen in the data hubs, it's just not. Fewest conceded. Tottenham not bad with 52, but the only one in the list, and it's at dead bottom. Shutouts, nothing. I mean, best pass completion, Tottenham, Wolves, and Newcastle all in there nicely. Most shots for, there you go, Tottenham and Newcastle again in the attacking side. And most points per game, as you'd expect. 6th with Tottenham. Alexander Isaac tops the most goals chart with 25. Harry Kane and Son also make it with 21 and 18. So very good, very well done there. Most assists, Trippier, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Acuna, Sarabia, Van de Beek. So there's a bunch of players in here, all from our teams. Most player of the match awards, Isaac with Newcastle. Nicely done. You got a bunch of others. Most dribbles made. Again, we're not going to see that. Shutout, defensive side, not going to see any of that. Most key passes, Trippier and Sarabia, as you would expect. And then most shots, Isaac, Cunha, and Son. So a couple of players at least. And then finishing out, Harry Kane with a whopping 26 goals. Definitely bang on average for him for all competitions. Highest average rating for Kane, 723. Danjuma and Acuna with 12 assists apiece. And then Harry Kane was 6th player of the match awards. Really just bang on average completely. Newcastle, Isaac with 31 goals. So really a nice tally there. Isaac was 751. That is just fantastic to see, though. Most assists, though, Trippier was 16, so not too bad there. And Isaac was 7th player in the match awards, a little bit higher than usual. Cunha with 18 goals. Again, we've seen him with higher. 18 is probably more on the average side for him. I mean, in this team, probably sadly. Sarabia, that was 7-3-2, a fantastic job. 14 assists, and then Sarabia and Cunha with 5 player of the match awards apiece. But overall, as we've seen a lot better tactics. So I would probably not even look at this. So unless you just have nobody to play on the wings and that can play those roles, and you need everything down the center, I really just wouldn't even bother. There's plenty of other tactics out there for you to take a look at. But I am Savvy FM for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.